There are so many agency owners stuck between 20 and 50K a month where if they just pulled a couple of levers, sometimes even just one, they could easily double their revenue or be doing 100K plus a month. Now, I run a marketing agency doing 180K a month. And in this video, I'm going to break down my offer structure, the math behind it as well, and everything that's gone into, the front end of my agency being able to produce and close deals at 7,500 bucks a pop. Okay, so this is the exact process that I've used to close over 250 clients at 7,500 bucks. So a little bit of context, I've been doing this for a little over 3 years at this point now, and I've taken hundreds of sales calls myself to kind of figure this all out and dial this entire system in. I've closed over 250 clients. Our flagship, my main offer of 7,500 bucks for 90 days with a logic and math backed guarantee as well. In a way that it's kind of appealing to an affluent demographic and not just like a money back guarantee that just attracts a bunch of broke, skeptical people. So again, if you're watching this video, you're probably stuck between 20 and 50K a month. And it's normally not volume. It's not going to be your ads. It's not your algorithm. It's really going to come down to two things that you're stuck because of. And it's the one thing is going to be your offer, and that your offer isn't closing itself, or your prospects are showing up cold. So you could be selling marketing services, right? With no guarantee, no math, no proof at all, but you're fighting an uphill battle if you don't have those things. So every call turns into an uphill battle, and you have to be impressive enough to overcome a weak offer, it's just tough to do. People are showing up to your sales calls with like no context at all and no reason to trust you at all either. And this is why you're building trust from zero on a 45-minute call. It's probably why your close rate is sub 20% when it can easily be double that. Just for context, our close rate just for 2026, our monthly close rate average is around 45-46%. So it's pretty high, but it's because we're doing the right things prior to the call as well, and the offer is dialed in. So the offer math, okay? So my main offer, and you can do this with your own offer too, which I highly encourage you to do right now. It's 7,500 bucks for 90 days. We make our clients spend $85 a day minimum on ads, which is roughly 2,500 a month. And then we guarantee 30 on-site appointments in those 90 days, okay? So this is literally the math that I will walk every single prospect through prior to the call and then on the call as well. So $7,500 in ad spend over the 3 months divided by 30, that's $250 per appointment, okay? So that's the KPI that my team has to operate inside of, and we know that we can. So then this is easily, it plays both sides here, but we flip it to their side of the table. So they get 30 on-site chances to close their own service. And say they just close 50%, they got a 50% close rate. And if somebody's telling me they have a 50% close rate or higher, obviously I'm going to reiterate that back to them here, which this is where it's logic backed. Okay. So that's 15 jobs at a 50% close rate. And then the average ticket in my niche can be anywhere from 8 to 12K. So 15 jobs times 10K, that's 150K in revenue that they could see. Now, we don't guarantee revenue because we can't go out and close jobs for our clients. They actually have to do that. We make that very, very obvious as well prior to the call, so people aren't thinking oh, it's all on this agency. This is my saving grace, essentially. So they pay 7,500 bucks plus the ad spend to make bare minimum that 150K. And even if they close half, right, of my assumption, they're going to be widely profitable. And this is what we express to people on sales calls, because this is the math that I don't think many people really dive into, where it will make sense to an affluent demographic, to somebody that's not a broke, highly skeptical person and they need a money back, every risk reversal in the world. It makes sense because then with this guarantee in place, my team internally has something to work for. Because another thing I say to our prospects too, it's I'm highly incentivized as the business owner here to keep you around for a very long period of time. So this first 3 months is just to date a little bit before we get married. I make, and I will tell them this straight up, I make most of my money off of you the longer that you stay with me. So my profit margin is going to be slimmer for the first 3 months than it is if you were to stay with me for the next 12 months. You know what I mean? After that, my profit margin is a lot higher on the back end. So I'm highly incentivized to keep you around for a long period of time. The only way I can do that is by getting you good results. So this is the KPI that my team has to work into, which is where I go over the cost per appointment on the guarantee. And that's just a bare minimum fail-safe as well. Keep that in mind. So why this matters for you. So the guarantee, it's not charity. It's pressure on my team to perform. And it's the reason the prospect can logically, can't logically say no to me in the first place. So what you want to do is you want your offer to be a no-brainer in terms of the math, okay? Because agency services, like, people have been burned so many times now by agencies that they just don't trust you, and they're looking for a reason to not buy from you from the get-go. So you need to have all of these things going in your favor. It's really important. And if you can't guarantee outcomes, then you don't know your numbers well enough yet. You want to be at a point where you can know this, where you can actually set KPIs for yourself, and you know that, like, okay, I work with X amount of clients and like their average appointment cost is $150, right? And then you can like set guarantees like accordingly that like are realistic for you to work into and obviously make sense to the person that's going to buy into it. Pre-call, this is really important. So many people sleep on this. They just wait for somebody to show up into their Zoom room before they start giving people sales assets, if they even have anything at all. So before people show up, somebody books a call with us. Most agencies just let prospects show up to sales calls cold. And we treat this window between booked and then the call time as the most valuable real estate in the entire process. So we keep this process short. We don't let people book out any more than 3 days at a time. And our funnel is pretty short when somebody opts in with us. It's like 5 questions, then they're able to book. And we don't qualify them to death prior to letting them book in. We want to let them get on our calendar first. And then my sales director sends personalized looms to all the prospects that come in. They're not automated. He researches their business, records a video briefing them on what we're going to cover on the call. And the prospect's, reaction every time to this is like, oh my gosh, this is a real person. Like, this is just some automation sending me appointment reminders. This is somebody who actually just took time out of their day to like research my business and actually build something a little bit custom to me, which I think is like a huge differentiator. Again, if you're selling agency services, because people have just been burned so many times. So you got to do something that's going to hit them with like a little bit of like a pattern interrupt. Okay, we're also hitting them with value dense email sequences as well, and sales assets prior to the call. So based on the application data that they gave to us, like what bucket can we place them in? Because we have case studies. We've worked with so many people at this point where we have case studies that match new prospects that are coming through our funnel. So we send them case studies that are applicable to their situation, be like, oh, this guy was in the exact same situation, yada, 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 storytell, do things like this, and then actually send them sales assets that fit their situation and their criteria. So by the time that they get on the call, they already have like a really good understanding of like what it is that we're going to do for them, because we just showed them what we did for somebody else in their exact same situation that they can like actually relate to. Like, that's not just BS, they can actually relate to it. So why this works, every objection that they could have prior to the call is answered before the call. Okay, so the price, they've already seen the math, guarantee, they know that it exists, and they know that it's not bullshit either. They know how it works. How badly can they get screwed? Because that's another thing that people are looking for. They want to know how screwed that they can actually get by you, and then actually trust you as well. A real human already showed up like on their phone just by sending them a personalized video, right? I mean, we most of our closes too, by the way, are absolutely objectionless. Like, we don't have to handle any objections at all at the end of the call, but it's because pre-call, and then we also run a pretty good discovery as well on the call. So going into that, the call itself. So obviously, I'm not going to sit here and like give you like my pitch, like word for word. I mean, the pitch itself is not even like the most important part, I would say, but our calls too, they're 30 to 45 minutes on average. That's how long it takes us to, close a deal on average. If your calls are, running 90 minutes plus, then your pre-call is definitely broken. We'll spend about 10 to 15 minutes in discovery. So this is where the deal is going to be won before we even get into the pitch at all. We're getting the necessary tie downs, understanding their situation, and making sure that they're actually in the pocket before we ever even pitch, and doing like a complete breakdown on their business as well, right? And like, we'll ask them questions that make sense to what we're going to actually pitch them, so we can sell them the right thing, to when they're like, okay, like they're asking me all these questions, like they obviously have been around the block a few times. Like, these guys know what they're talking about, they know what they're doing, and just like we'll build trust immediately if we didn't already have it established prior to them showing up to the call. So like I said, most of our closes, they are objectionless, and it's not because we're magicians. It's because there's nothing left to object to by the time we drop price. So the 4 objections that I think that actually matter and are probably the most common every high ticket agency deal comes down really to like the same four. So like price, risk, failure rate, and trust. So the price, I mean, you can drop your price prior to the call, or at least give like a price range. I think that's pretty beneficial as well, walking them through the guarantee math as well, with the risk reversal, failure rate, being very upfront with that. How screwed can people get from actually working with you, because that's what they want to know. I mean, now even today, it's like people, you can have as many case studies as possible, and like you're still gonna have people who don't believe you at all, and they're gonna think that they're all fake. Like they're it's just the way it is, because people have been burned so many times now. So you kind of have to like be like, oh, here's a situation where it actually went wrong, right? This is how screwed this person actually got, and this is why it failed, right? I think it's pretty important to be fully transparent with people nowadays, especially. So trust, people, going like, is this real? Like, do you really believe like all the case studies that we've shown them, the sales assets, whatever it is that we've shown them prior to the call? Do they actually believe you? Okay. Normally this is killed just by the personalized Loom video that we're able to send to people prior to the call. And my sales director, like, he's got like, our company like merch on, like with the logo on, either like the polo or the hat or whatever he's got on, so people know that it's like a legit organization. Just like subtle things that just send a message to somebody, be like, okay, like these people are obviously legit. And then he breaks down like their entire business based off what he can find on them online. And then again, just makes people go like, all right, they obviously know what they're talking about. So all of these objections are handled prior to the call. None of them are handled on the call. So if you're battling objections live, you didn't lose the deal in that moment. I mean, you lost it 3 days earlier, before those people even showed up, and you let them show up cold. So pre-handle the objections, or it's going to be a pretty tough game to play. So the guarantee as a closing weapon, this is, I mean, just because like our guarantee is logic backed and math backed, to where it like works in our favor and our client's favor as well, there's really, it just makes our offer sound even better, and like the cherry on top, to where it was already like a no-brainer offer, and then they hear the guarantee and they hear the math broken down from the guarantee, and they're like, all right, this is a no-brainer. So here's the sequence that makes the decision a no-brainer in their mind. So the social proof first, so like the case studies, results, real client, this builds the belief, right? And then the guarantee and the math. So after they already believe it works, the guarantee doesn't read as desperation, it just reads as confidence from our end, and it validates the decision they were already leaning towards. So the order of this definitely matters. So the guarantee first with no proof, it sounds too good to be true. But if you go proof then guarantee, it's like, why would you ever say no? And to be clear, the guarantee creates real pressure on my business to retain and perform. And that's a feature that people are paying for when they buy into my offer. And it forces my ops to be tight. And if your guarantee like scares you, if you close somebody with like a guarantee that's making you nervous, your fulfillment is the problem, and it's not the guarantee. So next 7 days to turn around and implement this is to, and you should have been doing this while you were watching this video, but day 1 and 2, rebuild your offer around math. So like price divided by deliverables equal your cost per unit that you can actually defend, right? Then show the prospect's ROI side. If the math isn't a no-brainer, just keep working it, keep tweaking the offer. Day 3 to 4, build your pre-call sequence, right? So minimum 1 personalized video per booked call, plus 3 to 4 assets that kill your price, risk, failure rate, and trust before the call. Day 5, you want to cut your call structure down. So have a 10 to 15 minute tight discovery where you're getting your tie downs, and you can cleanly transition into your pitch and close, and you should be able to do it in 45 minutes max. And then by day 7, add proof, then guarantee to your pitch order. So social proof first, guarantee second, always. So run this for 30 days. You'll see your close rate go up before your lead flow does, which means revenue jumps with 0 extra ad spend at all. So many of you guys are just leaving so much money on the table, it's ridiculous. But so guys, this entire system, like I've run to get to 180K a month, it's not that simple. You really just have to present yourself and your offer correctly to the people that would potentially want to buy from you, because people have been burned so many times now. They don't trust agencies. They're looking for one singular reason to not buy from you, and you need to combat that. So you have to have a system in place that gets people onto your calendar and then actually has them showing up to calls warm and ready to close efficiently.